What's good about it?
What's going on with it?
Big jelly belly,
Jelly biscuit ching-a-ling.
jelly biscuit, righteous big dog.
Oh, bark.
We were talking about like if we wanted to have a podcast drink. Both of us have been pretty good about drinking lately because it's getting harder to justify drinking.
Yeah.
It's getting harder to justify smoking when you're like, I'm almost 30 and you're over the hump.
I'm over
But
it.
I told Collie,
Jelly.
I told Jelly.
That's fine.
I told Jelly that I could make something stiff and gross so that he wouldn't want to drink it.
Yeah. I haven't really felt the need.
Yeah, and then that way it would be like you only want to take like sips of it, and then it wouldn't get you like too fucked up because you'd be drinking it slow, but you'd feel like real tough from drinking it. And I asked if he'd ever had Fernet, and he said no. And like Fernet's one of those things where like, okay, well, you can look at this fucking crazy ass bottle. I keep a bottle in my freezer because like after like a long shift or whatever, it's got a reputation as like bartender's handshake and stuff like that, which and it does feel. It's why I honestly don't order it out because I feel like a fucking dude, like weird little cringe bro when I order it. Like
I also cannot read Italian.
Yeah, no, I mean the Italians are bastards. One time I ordered. That's where fascism's from.
Yeah, I know Mussolini, dude. He invented it.
They literally invented it.
They were like, yo.
But one time I went to this like weird speakeasy with Julie, and like I got a half Fernet. Half Campari, which is Campari is that like I have a small red bottle of it over there.
Oh, I see. Yeah,
but that's like just tastes like ash and like butthole. It's like bitter and nasty. It's
like
just
the end of a night of drinking and
smoking.
smoking.
Exactly. It's like for specific drinks, but like. And like that, I like the drinks that they go in, but like it as itself is just a fucking nasty. But I got split Fernet and Campari, and the bartender was like, "Oh, you must be a bartender," and I was like,
"No, I just like these cocktails and shit."
Dude, I just drink. Man.
Are those the kind of cocktails you would imagine that you drink at the end of the night when you're already fucking schlitzed?
Yeah. Like I guess.
Or is it like a starter drink?
Yeah. So like Fernet, it's an Amaro or whatever, and it's for when it's a digestif. So after you've eaten a big meal, like if you're dirty and you're sweaty in the Sicilian hills, and you just had so much pasta, primavera, pasta with the veggies, and your wife is screaming at you, and so you bust out one of this because your fucking stomach is growling and you're fucking about to shit, and so you bust out one of these. All right, did you try it?
No, I'm about to. I've just been smelling, looking at it. I'm gonna give it a sip here. Oh, wow. Yo, it's like I'm drinking. Okay, hold on. Whoa. It's like I'm drinking like fucking permanent markers with like toothpaste. Whoa. This is how the bourgeois drink? Whoa.
Yeah, I mean, it has to. I don't know who drinks it.
I feel like my bank account just grew a little bit.
I don't think anybody likes it.
Oh my God, are you supposed to mix it with something? Jesus.
Yeah, it's fucking...
Just on the rocks like that is diabolical, dude.
I think every time I have it, I forget that it's bad.
Hold on, let me take another one.
Yeah, that's the thing is I come back to it.
That was like 3 drops.
Yeah.
Wow. Make a dwarf blush. Like I mean like a fantasy dwarf, not a real.
It's like Italian Jaeger. I think that like every culture that makes liquor has, maybe every culture ever, but like every culture brew. They have some fucking thing that's like your stomach is fucked up, so you're supposed to just like it's made from all of the shit that's outside.
Oh, it's like an Italian Underberg.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's Underberg. Yeah, that's the much better comparison.
Sure, because I've had Underberg. At least it doesn't get you twisted. It kind of settles your stomach a little bit.
Yeah, no, it's good like that. Like because we have Underberg at work, and like after work, I'll just have like a drink, I'll have a beer and an Underberg, and just like sip them next to each other. Oh. And like it's especially after a long day, that really hits.
Really?
Because I'll allow myself a cigarette at work sometimes.
Drunk cig is passable once in a while.
So like that's a real nice feeling. I haven't been doing that lately because I just don't fucking feel like hanging out. I gotta tell you more about what's going on at work. It's
okay,
crazy.
All right. The insider trading,
but
insider baseball.
But yeah, so the Unterberg and that. But yeah, every culture has this like
bitter,
everything. Yeah, bitter, nasty, toothpastey bullshit. Whether it's just like how every culture has like a licorice bullshit.
Yep.
That's
like, kind of what this was giving me, but like,
yeah,
because you had mentioned Jaeger, and that's like pure like licorice.
Yeah,
but that's tolerable.
Have you ever had ouzo? It's like I call it Greek drink. The way that I heard about it is that have you ever seen Mamma Mia?
I don't think so, honestly.
That movie's fucking insane. Apparently, like Julie was telling me because we were watching it, and I was like,
"That's with John Travolta." Or am I thinking?
No. It's a that's
Hairspray.
Grease or Hairspray, one of the two. But yeah,
Hairspray. Yeah.
Mamma Mia is the ABBA one where it's all ABBA songs. And
right.
Shit.
Okay.
Yeah, and the premise of it is they all go to Greece for this. Like she's trying to meet her dad or some shit. Like her mom was a slut and fucked a bunch of dudes. And then she doesn't know which one of her is her dad.
Okay, here's the thing. I love being on my own.
Okay, so it's like the other side of My Big Fat Greek Wedding.
It's good because Meryl Streep is the mom and like. Okay. Absolutely, she should be doing whatever she wants with her life.
I do. You know, every morning I get up and I thank God that I don't have some middle-aged menopausal man telling me how to run my life.
So when she sees the three men, it's like, oh. And
wait,
I think
was this movie made in the 90s or something?
No, it was made in like I don't know, it was early 2000s or mid aughts or whatever. Okay. But yeah, like I want to say Pierce Brosnan's in it and shit like that. It's really classic. Good, fun ride. But when you watch it, it's like. Do you know when you when you're on acid and you're on mushrooms and you get that you're in that like fuzzy stage?
Yeah.
Yeah, and everything is kind of funny. The whole movie is like that.
You know, I'm free and I'm single, and it's great.
And so I'm trying to figure out. I'm like, why does this movie why is everyone? They all have a smile on their face and their eyes are together. And like, I'm like, what's going on with this movie? And Julie was like, apparently like the behind the scenes is they're all fucking blitzed off their ass when everyone involved in production was wasted off ouzo. Because she was
really?
They were all drunk drinking Greek drink. They all discovered it. And so I was like, I need to have the Greek drink.
I need this Greek drink.
Because I'm like a real vibes-oriented drinker. I think that like Hemingway...
You're a vibes connoisseur.
Yeah, I'm a vibes connoisseur.
Okay.
So like if I'm at a shitty burger joint and like Yingling's there, I'll do that. If I'm at like Hot Pot and I can have soju and like some dry like an Asahi or some shit, like I'll do that kind of stuff. I'll have 3 or 4 drinks for the vibe. And so I'm like, I always want this Greek drink. I always want to try this Greek drink. Well, when we first got we're stocking up a bar for the house and all this shit, and we had first moved in together, I was like, oh, we'll get I saw a bottle. I saw ouzo so I got a bottle, and it's clear. So I don't know what it's gonna taste like and shit.
Like what it's made of.
Yeah, and they say to put it in the freezer and to have it over ice, and then when it's cold, it like gets all crystally, and you can see these crystals floating around it and shit. So it gets glassy, almost like glitter.
Yeah.
So it's clear and it's nice, and like I put a squeeze of lemon in it, and I'm going out to smoke, and I'm gonna have some ouzo, and I try it, and it's licorice bullshit.
Oh god,
it's fucking licorice bullshit.
And you're just taking your sweet ass time. Like I'm looking at this drink right now. I'm not gonna be finishing this anytime soon.
I put soda water, and then I added a little simple syrup, and it tasted like Now and Plenty's. Have you ever had Now and Plenty?
I don't think so. I actually don't know what
they're like. They look like Mike and Ike's.
No, I've heard of Now and Plenty, but I've never had it.
Yeah.
I'm uncultured. I only eat a floor lint, belly button lint, just various forms of lint.
You also don't like sweets.
I really don't. Honestly.
Yeah.
I'm not a sweet guy. I have teeth problems as it is.
Well, that's why I have teeth problems now.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah. Well, the irony. Let me get into that real quick, not to detract from the liqueur conversation, but I used to think when I was growing up, it's like if I avoided sugar, my teeth would be fine. But it turns out that's not the problem. Sugar's not the thing that causes tooth decay and cavities. It's just bacteria in general in your fucking mouth. So if you're not brushing your teeth regularly, no matter what, you're still gonna get fucked up.
So you're just out yourself as being nasty.
No, I mean I used to be like I can skip a day and not brush my teeth if I didn't fucking eat honey buns all day or something, And
yeah, and you didn't.
Then now I still get cavities. I brush my teeth all the time now, but
you were like, no, I was being nasty.
I was being nasty, but I'm just saying I had to learn the hard way.
No, I know that now. Sometimes because you gotta when you're mentally ill, you gotta remind yourself to do shit. You're gonna go back for more. He's gonna go back for more. You saw Nosferatu?
I was just gonna say that, in the moment, you're, leading up to it, you're hype. In the moment, you're hype, and then after the fact, you've got the face, bro. Ugh. It lingers too.
Yeah, it's rough.
After you have a little time to reflect, I think that's why we need to have this conversation right now. Let me not jump too far into that, but I didn't think it was a bad film. I didn't think it was a great film either. You know, I just feel like it was a lot of sensational, like pandering to creepiness, and that there really wasn't a lot of like riskiness taken to the story.
Was it loud when you saw it?
I'm just deaf as hell, and I feel like most movies aren't loud enough. So I just felt like...
Okay, so was this one normal when you saw it?
Yeah, this was normal.
Okay, yeah, because when I saw it, it was fucking loud as shit.
Where did you go to see it?
So loud. Where did we go see it? I want to say we went to Grove, but don't quote me on it. No, we went to the movie theater.
AMC?
In the mall, Citrus Park, or
wherever
I know that movie theater is in the mall.
Mm-hmm.
We went to that one. Yeah, it is an AMC. But I
went to the AMC at the freaking Highwood Reserve, and I don't know. Maybe I got to blow my ears out or something before I go to movies. But I just felt like. But then again, we were at the very back. I don't know if that makes a difference.
Yeah, we must have been under speaker or something because Julie had to put like. I got her for Christmas. I got her those like loop earplugs that like filter noise for her autistic ass. She like gets overstimulated and shit. So like she'll get pissed over at like family shit because we're all my family. There'll be like 12 conversations. They're all talking over each other because they're they're like Europeans, kind of civilized. So they're all like everyone's talking, and I can see her just like about but she like plays it cool. So now she's got the earplugs. It's good. But I saw her pop them in, and I was like, okay, low key. So I put like I didn't want to like play it. I wanted to play it cool, but I popped one headphone into one, and then I kind of like leaned on the other ear because it was fucking insane.
Wow.
That being said, it like I guess it was all right.
There was a bunch of jump scares that like I don't know if because I get got on jump scares a lot. Like I'm not above them. You know, I'm no big Superman, big balls or anything, but all the jump scares in the movie, none of them got me. And my sister, because I saw it with my sister, she was just flipping and twitching and freaking the fuck out in her seat. And I'm just like, yeah,
that's because she's just a spicy Latina.
Dude, like there would be times where she would literally cover her eyes, and I'm like, it's not that bad. Like I know he's creepy, but she's like, nah, I'll have nightmares. And I'm like, I literally had a nightmare last night. I don't even know if I could call it a nightmare because my whole like emotional expression throughout the dream was like, oh, this is happening. It was like a Cambodian killing fields kind of dream where people's body parts were being chopped up and used to fertilize the soil and shit.
Fuck?
I don't know. I'd never had dreams like that, but I had one last night, and I was just like, okay.
I can't sympathize because I never have too fanciful of dreams ever.
Mine are either like just the weirdest like surrealist type of dream where I'm like, this is happening. Oh, now this is happening. Everything's weird, but I'm accepting it all. Or it's like a stress dream that's supposed to make you freak the fuck out, but I'm just like, this is normal.
All my dreams are either like they're all kind of sex related.
Oh yeah.
Like all my dreams. I think I might be like gooned in the head or something.
You might be gooned up,
yeah. Despite being
gummed up in the goon.
Despite being like married and functioning, I think like that one guy.
Well, you have
like the guy in the fucking cafe drive-through. They got caught gooning and he got outed and he killed himself.
Oh shit!
Do you know about this?
I don't think so.
Oh my god!
I know the one story of the chick who got caught.
I don't
masturbating
know.
On a beach.
His name's out there and shit. But like, long story short, there's a cafe. I think it's called like Bikinis Brews or some shit like that. I was not prepared to talk about this at all, so I don't have. God damn, dude. Crazy. But yeah, it was like called like Bikini Brews or some shit, and what it is it's just like scantily clad women serving coffee.
And he couldn't hold it.
And I don't know if they had gotten, because they must have a problem with creeps. I know this to be. I've seen them before because some creeps before.
Yeah.
And because people just can't
people
just can't be chill.
That's how you do it in the old way. You see a bunch of, the good looking people that you're sexually attracted to, and then you save it for later.
Yeah.
That's what they call it, stored in the spank bank for later,
Jeez.
Jeez.
Yeah, exactly. That's the problem with that's the problem with instant gratification, like stimulation that we have with our culture, is that people don't have imaginations anymore.
Yeah,
so they don't have the thought.
They go to look it up.
They got it. They needed that, right? But anyway, so he pulled up. There's a video of. I don't know why she was already filming. That's why I think they had problems with this already.
Yeah,
but the videos from her perspective, and the guy pulls up and he's like either getting his order or something, and just has no pants on. And it's just some guy.
Like he just pulled up like that?
Yeah, and he had
Oh,
no pants on. And then she's just like, "Get the fuck out! I'm calling the police." Says something to him, and then like you see his car pull away and all this shit. And then the internet
skid mark ass
that
outta here,
that
dude.
went
Goon
viral,
crusted.
and the internet identified him. And he had like a wife and kid, and he got outed, and he killed himself. And then so people have been
Damn, like-
going. People have been going.
That's like an actual nightmare. Like, I showed up to my goon spot without my pants on. I forgot the internet exists, and I'm all
That's
over
the
it.
thing is like, there had to be some like bigger mental health thing going on.
He may have been like
But,
mid-crisis.
how do I have like, it's hard for me to be sympathetic because like the dude's committing assault.
No, yeah, really. Like, well, it's like, okay, can you say, "Oh, I'm sorry, Your Honor, I was in the middle of a goon psychosis," or like, were you a fully, you have?
I was
full
doing
faculties?
a Louis.
Yeah,
I was doing a Louis.
Yeah, except I didn't even ask. You know?
That's true. He didn't even ask.
He didn't even ask
Yeah.
and then do it anyway. He just went in.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, so now people have been going to that bikini place and like videos of them, which is like the most
like,
fucking
harassing
brain.
people?
They're like harassing them. And I'm like, that's the most
That's
brain.
Pizzagate all over
I'm
again,
like,
dude.
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about. Is these fuckers are so they're on a Discord somewhere being like, I'm gonna go blow up the bikinis.
It's just-
Goon for life.
they don't like ugly men like me. And they've got butt cheeks.
And they've got butt cheeks and everything.
Yeah, they do though.
And it's gonna be those dudes in the Elon task force. They're
Oh,
like
the
they're all running a goon.
Department of Gooning efficiently.
Yeah, that's what I say. Is they're all running a goon Discord on like taxpayer dollars, and that's where they're siphoning all of our
Like,
like
we'll put
tax
all the Social
information and
Security
shit.
money into not OnlyFans because they're incels, right?
I think so, but
What would incels put their money into that's still sexually related?
yeah, do incels like I truly don't.
They
know
still
about
do, I'm
that.
sure.
Yeah,
They criticize OnlyFans models while still subscribing to OnlyFans. I'm sure.
That's what I was gonna like. That has to be the hypocrisy. Like that has to be.
Of course,
what
hypocrisy is the name of
exists.
the game.
Yeah.
Actually, that was a topic I wanted to talk about, but I'm not even ready to talk about that either. So we'll have to save that for another day.
Well, I was gonna go with the Elon thing. I was gonna smoothly transition into that.
Trans what?
I didn't realize that Zizek got so much flack for.
Is he anti? He's not anti.
No, he's not
I was
anti-trans.
gonna say
He said some shit that like everything that Zizek says is like provocative because he's like an old guy.
Oh, he's an old bastard.
But he's
Like,
also he thinks about shit and like not saying he like thinks differently, but since he's thinking Hegelian, like he thinks that like he's like if anything he thinks that trans is like the ultimate radicality because he believes it is this true
Right.
subjective thing.
Listening to Slavoj talk with headphones on is the worst because I was
Oh, yeah.
listening to him with Yanis Varoufakis, and like he leveled out in the beginning of the conversation that they're having. It's just the dude needs to blow his nose or something. But
Yeah.
then it evens out. But gosh.
Because in old time, and I mean you're God, and like that would be like because in the
No, I
old
love all
time,
that, but it's
old
like-
time Slovenia, and then he does it.
It's the back of the throat, like yeah.
I hope, where I see, it's not that universalism does not mean, oh, we are all together, one big family. I hate this, what I call UNESCO universalism. Those disgusting books published decades ago on world culture, and every culture is beautiful in its own way. No, every culture is horrible.
I'm sorry to derail the entire transition. You were talking about the Elon Musk goon force again. And you said transition, I brought up trans. So that's how easily we get it derailed.
Oh, that's true. Maybe I'll edit this part out.
Yeah, maybe. People, yeah, we're gonna definitely oust ourselves talking about Slavoj Zizek.
Yeah. All right, I'll make like a cut like right here.
And cut.
But like the thing about Elon shit is that there's no alternative right now because the Democrats are upset about AID or whatever, which is the like CIA color revolution front.
Yeah.
Like where the like all of the USAID.
Yeah, they're providing aid to countries and poor people and all that stuff. Just as basically another monitoring front.
Yeah, exactly. It's a monetary front. Like they do some humanitarian aid, but basically all that money is used to like it's what pays out dissidents who foment color revolutions in other countries.
To
And Chuck Schumer and them are out there
legitimate.
fucking throwing a fit about that, as opposed to like, Social Security cuts, or now like over the weekend Trump was talking. They're doing away with the Department of Education, all this shit. They're all mad about like they're all throwing a fit about USAID, and only one like there's no alternative, like because this is that you're talking about Giannis Varoufakis. This is that techno-feudal era. Is that people are
Rich people can determine if poor people get aid
exactly.
and survive at all.
Rich people can
It's
determine
like
all
the
these
lords
things.
over the peasants.
Which is
all
not
over
like
again.
not a new concept or anything, but just to see it so blatantly like out in the
this
open.
contemporary history
Yeah.
where we're so advanced in our age of technology and internet, and we're still acting the same way we have in the dark ages. I used to say that all the time to be a kind of an edgelord, but it was always true in my opinion. Like it's something that I believed is that we are still. It doesn't matter how many iPhones and how many holograms and VR or whatever the fuck we got. We're still in the dark ages.
Yeah, it's like no matter how as Joker-fied and shit, like as like fucking like red pilled like we're all fucking like we're all dude. There's an Alex Jones video that was like going around on fucking Twitter because Twitter's a hellhole now, and it's a guy like that basically like I know I know you're more enlightened than like an Alex Jones, and this isn't that you're being this kind of guy, but Alex Jones is absolutely being
does
one
a
of those guys
caricature of it,
where
yeah.
he's talking about the Super Bowl at the time, and he's just like, Dallas.
Hey, what do you think of the Cowboys? What do you think of this? Yeah, did you see the simulated combat on TV? Yeah, I watched it. A bunch of rich gladiators that could care less about me.
Well, how do you feel about the gladiator match? These rich gladiators, the simulated combat.
Give a bread and
With
circus.
these rats, he's just like these rats, and they're never gonna. And he's just like saying all this shit, and he's just like all this.
Did you see it? Yeah, I'm empty too. Yeah, I did. I fill my head with facts and figures that don't matter instead of learning the political system and standing up for myself.
No, I know. Yeah.
And then
that's like a doomer perspective. Of
Yeah,
just like, we're living in Roman times. I don't know.
Yeah, right, exactly. And he's just like, oh, we'll talk about the game. We'll talk about the weather. Well, what about the surveillance state?
Yeah,
What
right.
about the nature of politics and the system?
What do you think of the weather? Oh, yeah. And you start bringing up, I don't know, what do you think of the surveillance grid going in? Have you heard about how they're listening to all of us without warrants? They're like, well, gee, buddy, what you bringing that up for?
And I'm sure this is during the Obama years. It's like Obama's in your Spotify. It's like Obama's determining everything. Obama's making playlists. Those playlists that Obama puts out at the end of the year every year, those are the playlists that he's putting onto your phone on Spotify, just like how they do on the U2. And the youth will get radicalized by this Obama playlist.
Well, gee, buddy, what you bringing that up for?
Michelle,
Roll
I
Tide.
am the Obama. Michelle, get my Obama suit.
I was gonna go there. Oh damn.
Yeah, I'm empty too.
You think they're going to get a divorce?
Why would you say that? What do you think? Because she's more woke than him.
I think you and I are on completely separate sections of the internet.
I don't keep up with
because,
these,
because
these
there's a whole
establishment
section
Democrats anymore.
No, it's
Oh, you
not-
mean like on X?
yeah,
Okay.
because I'm on the brain hole. There's a whole section of online that's like Obama and Jennifer Aniston are dating.
Oh no!
And then Michelle
like
Obama.
the conspiracy ships.
Yeah, because Michelle wasn't at like Jimmy Carter's funeral and shit like that.
Okay.
Was Barbara at?
Barbara Bush. You almost never see her with George Bush. You know.
This guy that I work with came up to me today and was telling me about, because you're talking about Bush.
Bush.
He
Oh,
was telling me about like, remember when Bush threw whenever I want a good cry, I watch a video of Bush throwing that baseball.
what senior?
No, Bush Jr. When have you ever seen that video? It's like right after 9/11, and he goes. It's like one of the like a big game, and he goes and he throws. Oh, it's like how they throw the first pitch of the season, and he goes out there and he looks like just a fucking absolute like shotgun right down the like middle, right down the barrel, just loads it up. He gives a wink and a smirk to the crowd, like gives a wave and just like throws the ball and it absolutely nails it and shit like that.
Like fucking all-star moment.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, absolute. Just like mission
I'm thinking of his
accomplished.
daddy when he was in the chair and he lifts up the ball.
Mission accomplished.
Mission, I did it. We did it.
I did. I threw this ball.
What? Now watch me smoke this skin wagon.
Now watch me smoke this turkey.
I want to shoot it like a $2 pistol. It's hot.
Now watch me smoke this skin flute. He starts sucking a dick.
Hell yeah, dude. That's the Bush that I love.
Yeah, hell yeah. That was what people don't. When everyone wants to rehabilitate Bush, they need to be talking about those moments. Check me smoke this pipe. And then it sounds like the grapefruiting video going off.
Oh, what's going on? I thought this was a hot dog from the stands.
Coney Island.
No relish. I ain't from Chicago.
Hey, Chicago, Coney Island. Cheney. Dick, come on.
Dick.
Cheney.
He's my number right hand man. Get it, dick. My right hand.
He's good. I never work on impressions. So like when I can bust one out and I kind of figure it out, I like want to sit in it for
You
a
just
while.
want to keep doing it, like riffing on it.
Yeah.
What was that one thing that's been going on? It's just I must be a kid left behind. The way this Bush got me acting stupid. You know.
Amen, bro. Oh man. Oh god. I forgot it was Fernet.
Yeah, you took a big one there.
Every time I take
Ouch.
every time I take a rip of the dip.
She cubing on my missile till I cry, sis. That's not my favorite, but I like the historical connotation behind it. You know.
I like my favorite memes are like AI dogs in suits.
Oh, okay. I see.
When
Yeah,
you get like AI, like
they're dressed like
when
businessmen and shit.
Yeah, they're huge, and it says just like she be roaming till I sees her.
And it's just like based.
Yeah,
right,
and it's
right,
like
red
based
pill content.
And
Dude,
it's just
Manosphere. The Manosphere rules.
that's big dollar baller hours.
Big dollar ballers. You know?
But yeah, I don't know if you remember, but like, so when we did Dry January, this is all leading somewhere. When we did Dry January, on February 1st, we went to my niece's birthday party, and then Maddie was with her mom that night. So me and Julie went out and had our first cocktails and all that, and then we went to Target, and we were drunk shopping at Target.
She was doing Dry January too?
Yeah, and I texted you, and do you remember what my idea was? And I told you to edit it onto a dog picture, and I don't think you ever took
Oh,
me
you know
up
why?
on that.
Because I was at Monster Jam when you sent me that.
Okay, all right.
That was me getting my first drink too, so I was hammered. I actually bought a $30 shirt.
Yeah,
and
but do you remember what
dropped
I
it.
said?
I don't. I actually don't.
I said, big dogs don't bark. They silently lead the pack.
I can do that for you. I can make that for you. Big time.
That's what I want. I want a shirt.
I'll make that
And
shirt
I don't
for you.
think maybe Big Dog's had a resurgence, but like,
Yeah, big dog is a term of endearment nowadays.
I'm talking about Big Dog shirts. Do you remember Big Dog shirts?
like the bulldog.
Yeah, that like real like fucking real tough looking Big Dog breeds is what comes up when
The
you
Mac.
with the Mac.
With the Mac bulldog.
But like Big Dog shirts. Hold on, let me see if I can find one. If you can't run with the big dogs, stay on the porch. That one's classic.
That's a good one. That's a great one.
Or there's this one, which is him opening up his shirt and he's got the American flag Superman thing, and it says "You messed with the wrong dog."
That's the big.
That one's got to be post 9/11. Oh hell yeah!
That's some good
Dog
stuff.
of the Hill. Greetings from Snarlin, Texas.
Yo,
And it's got all the fucking dogs.
It says Hound Hill, Airedale, Doggy Hill for Bobby,
Doggy Hill. That was
Billy
not-
Bark, and Boom Howler. That's fucking awesome, dude.
Wait,
that's
Boom
actually
what?
Boom Howler.
Boom Howler. Okay, that's good.
That's a
Doggy
good
Hill. Doggy Hill.
Doggy Hill, dude.
Why did that?
Yo, God dang it, Doggy.
God dang it, Dogger. Dad.
Dang it, Bark,
Dad.
Bark.
Rough, Dad. Rough dang it, Boggy.
Rough.
Rough dang it, doggy.
Well, who'd Peggy be? Peggy would be Puggy. Oh, she'd be a pug.
Puggy.
She'd be a
Holy
puggy.
shit, dude. We could expand the Big Dog universe.
let's
I'll get them on the line. Get Big Dog on
Hank
the
Hill,
line.
Cinematic universe.
That's my purse. I don't know you.
No, dude, this one.
No.
Oh, it's not real. It's just like a mock-up for one. No, it's on bigdogs.com. Proud toxic male.
Oh. Yo, I need some dog nuts on that one.
Holy shit. Dude, imagine if you could get
Fuzzy dog nuts.
Imagine if you could get a Proud Toxic Male t-shirt.
That's
and
awesome.
it had truck nuts hanging off the back, but that looked like
But
dog.
they were fuzzy?
They were
They're
fuzzy like
fuzzified?
dog
You
nuts.
can probably find that on Etsy. You know?
Oh, big
Or you
dog.
can get an Etsy to make that for you.
I'm into fitness. Fitting this whole burger in my mouth. Big dogs.
Yo, that's the PG
That one can't
version.
be original because it's big dogs. That can't be legit.
No, that meme's that meme that fitting his dick. That was like a 2017 meme, I think.
I wonder if these are so simple that you could finish it. I'm trying to be a more positive person. I'm positive everyone is
An idiot.
basically stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, nice. Hell yeah. So you got that one.
Okay. I'm liking this.
Ah, damn.
Dude, red pill me, dude. I'm trying to go down the rabbit hole. I'm trying to end wokeness.
Is a dog holding up his hand in
oh.
quotes? Talk to the.
Paw.
There you go.
What?
Easy. See,
That was the end of it?
That was it.
There should be more. Talk to the paw because the tail don't want to hear it or something.
Holy shit,
you know?
dude! You should get behind this one. I thought this would be like a real good thread for us to. This one just says, "I'm having a great day. Don't screw it up.
Don't screw it up." Yo, and he's got glasses on. He's pointing at you with the smirk. That's great. That's like a beach shirt. I would wear that to the beach.
I would wear that shit to the beach,
Dude, that'd be awesome.
Yeah,
Dude, Big Dog. I think
Big
that's a
Dog
vibe.
is where it is.
We got to get it aligned with Big Dog related merch now.
Big Dog is one of my favorite things that like a black dude will call you. Like, you know that genre of thing that like black guys in public will call you?
Yeah.
Like when you run into them. I mean, I don't know
Player.
how many. Yeah,
Playboy.
Player.
That's a great one. I always
Playboy's
wanted
a
to be
good
called
one. I
Playboy.
love Playboy. Chief is all right.
Chief, yeah.
But like when it's like Big Boss, Big Dog.
Yeah, Boss.
shit
Boss is
like
a great
that.
one.
Yeah, Boss is a great one. But like, especially when we have like delivery drivers coming into the restaurant and be like, "Where you need this, Big Dog?" I'll be like, "Hell yeah."
Yeah, yeah.
Hell yeah.
I'll tell you exactly where.
Yeah,
Like we're in the
you in the dog pound. Shout out to my dog.
Yeah, no, that reminds me of also like when you encounter an older black lady at a grocery store or something, and she calls you honey or sugar. You just get like the same feeling, that just like euphoric tingle up my spine. Like I did it. Like I did something good.
Yeah.
You know. Like I earned this. You know.
Yeah, exactly. when you're in the CVS and you're picking out some candy, and she's like, "Oh, Snooky child."
Little mung bean.
Oh, Snooky.
Because you're picking out the circus peanuts. And she thinks you're crazy. And
Yeah,
she thinks
those-
you're wildin'. She
yeah.
thinks you're wildin'.
That
for
is an
picking out the
exclusively
circus
white
peanuts.
people delicacy right there.
Dude, I don't
Classic.
eat candy unless it's got tahini on it.
That's
Dude, you're
a cultured man.
I only eat mango dipped in tahini. Is the only sweet
with a
treat
side of
that-
labna.
With a what? No, not tahini. Tahini, like that spice.
Oh,
of-
tahini. Okay, well, yeah, you're right. What the hell? Because I don't have tahini all the time because I hate that flavor. I'm gonna oust myself on that. That shit's too much.
What is it, like
It's
the
like
art
if flavor had flavor on top of flavor. It's like flavor's most extreme end result.
It's like 3 of the like 5 profiles that you want to hit when you're having a food.
I know.
It's spicy, salty, and it's got citrus, so it's got
Sour.
acid.
It's not even
Yeah.
sweet. It's like sour. So
because
I'm
it's
getting
like
hit with
the
the spicy.
lime, dude.
It's just a lot at once.
You won't even do like you don't even like margarita with some tahini
Oh,
on the rim.
don't get me wrong. I will have tahini on stuff, but I won't eat things like Takis, or I won't put tahini on my food all the time or anything. You know what I mean? But if it has tahini, I will fuck it up. You know, I'm not so uncultured.
Respect.
I'm just when it comes to preferential addition, I don't put it on nothing.
Yeah, because I don't fuck with like artificial lime flavor.
Yeah, my sister hates that shit too. I'm like,
Yeah.
why don't you just use the lime juice in the fridge? She's like, that's disgusting. It's not fresh. It's not the same. It's got sulfates. I'm like, yeah, you're right. You're right about that.
She's a spicy.
She's a
Latina.
spicy Latina. Yeah.
Yeah, so she's allowed to be
Makes
mad at you
everything by
for
scratch.
fucking around because
Yeah.
you're the man in her life right now. So not in like that way, but
No,
like,
I know.
you
Yeah.
know, when you guys are
Actually, it's more like my dad because he's the one who's like, you know how some people when they get older they just revert back into being childish,
Yeah.
and childlike. He's still a full grown man, but there are times where it's just like he can't take care of himself. You know.
we at least all had parents that, at least the ones that I was exposed to, all were at one point grown-ups.
Yeah.
Like,
for real ass adults.
Like when I run into like parents that are like Maddie's friends' parents and shit like that, and even people that we work with that are our age, they're all grown kids. They're all like in a state of arrested development.
Oh, their parents, you mean? Yeah.
All of them. Yeah, the parents, and then like I said, people that I work with that are our age and shit like that. They're all no one like my idea of a 30-year-old was like how my parents
An
were.
old 20-year-old, basically.
Well, no. Well, yeah, that's what they are now.
Oh, when you were a kid
Yeah.
is what you're saying.
Yeah,
idea.
my idea
Yeah.
of a 30-year-old was what they were when I was a kid, which was like they had Honda Civics.
You got a mortgage.
And you had a mortgage.
Yeah.
And like even though I know that that's like an economics thing now, but you still had like responsibilities.
Yeah,
and
as a
shit.
kid, you have no idea.
And like my parents woke up, made me breakfast. Like they had a routine, so maybe that's like also my kind of bias.
Right.
But like the idea that like some of these fuckers like Maddie's like some of these motherfuckers will be calling Maddie at like midnight. And I'm like, why the hell is this kid on the phone at midnight?
Oh my God,
Like
yeah.
not Maddie. Like Maddie's not on the phone at midnight. So like when I see that she's got missed calls at midnight and shit like that,
That's weird,
I'm
yeah.
like, why the hell are
Why
these
is that
little
kid
kids
awake?
up?
Yeah.
Awake. Like, are these parents like paying attention and shit? And it turns out like no, most of them are like allowed to do their shit.
they're
'Cause
playing
the
fucking
parents are
Elden
all-
Ring,
Yeah, the
yeah.
parents are all playing like fucking like they're furries or they're like playing air hockey because
Or-
they're like crazy libertarian like gun, because that's also another type of like adult grown up.
Yeah, the one who's
This is
like
the
the
one-
games.
Yeah, the ones who are
Gamified.
like the gamified white ones with money that like have a bunch of guns and fucking golf carts and shit driving around the suburbs in golf carts.
Oh, dude, I see those all the time. But it could also be the iPad kids, you know? They just throw an iPad in their face. And that's just going to keep you up. You know, the blue light, you don't got a
That's
screen
true.
protector on
That's
there.
true.
You know?
I think a lot of them are raising iPad kids. Those are the people that raise iPad kids.
Yes.
Well,
Well,
those kinds of fuckers.
you know, because we were born with the internet. So we grew up with those big clunky computers and machines, and then eventually laptops, and then eventually all this crazy technology like flip phones that turn into iPhones, that turn into iPads, that turn into fucking VR holospheres or whatever the fuck it is now. But these kids were born into that.
Yeah.
Into that tech as it was normalized. You know, we watched it become normalized. And the generations before us, they actually had to go out in person and fucking talk to each other and call each other and go in. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
you really couldn't afford to be socially anxious or have mental illnesses on display because you were just like, I have a social life and reputation I got to cater to and take care of. And if I don't go out, I don't get laid or I
Yeah.
don't, you know what I mean? Like,
Which is my
you
motivating.
don't have social media.
Yeah, and it's like that's my whole motivating factor. Is like I'm autistic as hell, but I wanted to get some ass.
Yeah, of course.
And so like I learned how I perfected masking to the point to where
Exactly.
I
And I
could-
think that's what they're all good at. And then eventually you get older, and especially in this world, they just kind of crumble and fall
yeah,
apart. you know?
exactly. Everyone just fucking crumbles and shit.
It was all a facade. It was easier to be an adult if you grow up as a boomer when you have everything set up for you and everything's cheap and you could buy a house for $35,000.
Well, that's the
You know what I mean?
structural thing I was gonna say. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry to cut you off.
No,
but,
go
like,
ahead.
Yeah, that's the structural thing I was gonna say. Is that like it's not only just like economic, like it's harder to afford shit, but the system now caters. It wants people to be consumers. Who's
Okay,
the best
yeah.
consumers? It's kids because kids will buy fucking
Games and
bullshit.
toys and
toys are
nonsense.
the epitome
Arts and
of
crafts.
bullshit. Because it's just like it's exactly. Like toys are the epitome of bullshit. Because like I'm not saying there's anything wrong with toys. Because
No, yeah.
kids need fantasy.
Fuck it.
But like exactly.
I like
you know me.
knickknacks and
I
stuff.
love that.
I
kind
don't
of
be
shit.
sitting here playing with my Spider-Man shit. I'll just put it up on a shelf, but still, you know.
Yeah, but it's the same thing. Like guitars, everyone like guitars for us,
Right.
cars for some
They
people,
have the-
guns
everybody
for
has
some
their
people.
thing.
Everyone's got a toy. Everyone's got this thing, and that's the thing is that capitalism got so good at giving people toys no matter your disposition. Even me now, who like I am so weirdly fucking whatever kind of pilled that I am to where I can't sit and enjoy myself like and relax for a minute. Even me who can't sit and watch TV, can't watch a movie because like I feel like I need to be doing
Yeah.
something. Can't play video
Feels like
games.
a waste
There
of
are
time.
even things for me to find
Yep.
that can be little gadgets and toys for me to find.
Yeah.
So if capitalism's got that good at people like me, at me,
Is there a term for it? Treat economy or something, where like you go out and work
Well,
hard just to give yourself little treats.
that's
to
what
make
it
the
is.
time
Like
pass
I
by.
know that that's like the whole fucking treatler thing, where like people like become Hitler for their little treats. I don't know if you've seen that.
I've
I don't
never
know if
seen
that's a
that.
fucking X thing.
I have to get on extras. To keep
Yeah,
up with
that's
their
supposed to be
ass, 'cause-
another brain rot thing because, like, there's this thing called treatlerites. Like instead of Hitlerites, they're treatlerites because it's
Their
like
motto, treat yourself.
it's the idea of like these moderate liberals and like conservatives too. But like,
who will
basically,
justify anything?
who
as
will
long as they
justify
can
anything because like as
War
long
in
as
Gaza, that's
they're
fine.
yeah.
Can I have my
they're-
Starbucks though?
That's the thing is like
my
they're
God.
fucking. They want their little treat and whatever can justify their little treat. They'll fucking
They're like
burn
boycott
it.
Nestle, but they're like, but I love chocolate cookies or whatever. You know what I mean? It's like
yeah, that's it's like it's reactionary. It's people who are
performative liberals.
Yeah, it's people who realize like if I'm getting to the not to go on a rant. I had an espresso before you came over.
Oh, that's cool.
If I was to diagnose it, I would say that it's a reaction against consumer activism. So people realize there is an inherent I'm gonna follow a thread here. So
No,
let me-
I think I know where you're going.
yeah, let me be big brain for a minute.
Go ahead.
So Hegel teaches us when we're talking about contradiction, like there is an inherent contradiction in what we would classify consumer activism. So one of those contradictions being like oh, this is something Zizek talks about, so I don't. Will be like the second time. If I hadn't edited out the first conversation about Zizek, this will be the second time we reference Zizek.
Slavoj.
If I did,
Yes.
then you guys will know that we said some fucked up, cancelable shit earlier. But so like he even references this that we're like, okay, when you go to pay for something and they say, do you want to round up to the nearest dollar for charity,
to help pay for donations
and
and shit.
that little act of faux activism
Makes you feel like you're doing something.
Exactly, makes you feel like you're doing something. And
Meanwhile, it's just a tax write-off for the big corporation.
It's a tax write-off, all these different things. So an aspect of consumer activism is people being like, oh,
I posted
why
on
the
Instagram.
fuck shouldn't I go to God? Like, why the fuck shouldn't I go to McDonald's? It's all bullshit anyway. Even the Gaza stuff, like that kind of justification. Which, to be honest, there is a truth to that. In that, yes,
What's the immediate impact?
There's no immediacy to the act and all these things. So it's true that it's not a radical
It's
act.
almost like we're conditioned to rationalize things, though. We're like, oh well, I can rationalize that this is okay, or that it's not a big deal, or it doesn't affect me, so that I can get to my end goal.
And
so
yeah,
I can,
and then so
achieve my desire.
Exactly. It's like it doesn't affect me. It's removed from me. It's separate from me. So these small acts that I do that will capitulate to me recognizing
Good
it,
enough.
those are good enough.
Yeah, good enough is good enough.
And so people are,
so to speak.
People see
Excellent.
exactly. People see the inherent contradiction in that, and so they react to it instead of being like, no, we need to go beyond that, and there are some other things that we can do.
Yeah,
like we shouldn't go to places that are inherently like that fucking crazy like Black Rifle Coffee Company.
Well,
I don't know if you've
because
seen that shit.
I haven't, but I think it's because people don't see where the dollar ends up. They see that their dollar goes to something and they don't follow it to the end goal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But not only that, but they don't see the benefits of actually physically being present at organizations, or you know what I mean?
But listen, brother man, isn't this
Yeah.
all just an appeal to jouissance?
Yeah, it is.
That's
It's
kind of
true.
what I'm getting at. Is that like exactly what we're talking about? The appeal, the jouissance is that you don't see where your dollar's going.
Yeah, and you're fine with it. So
Yeah.
you're just happily living in your blissful ignorance,
Yeah.
so that you can
And
feel like you're a part of
If
something
you were
bigger.
to see with where your dollar went, you would have no enjoyment in it. You would
Right.
get no enjoyment from
If
it. There would be no
everybody-
jouissance in it.
If everybody followed the inevitable end goal of where all the money goes and where all the political activism comes from and all the think tanks that receive money, then they would actually become fully radicalized and say, hey, I can't go to work because I have to fight the fucking system.
Or they become cynical
Oh,
and
yeah, exactly.
become reactionary.
Exactly.
That's kind of what I'm getting at, is that these people who rationalize that there is a contradiction in consumer activism,
Mm-hmm.
those kinds of people who rationalize that contradiction as becoming treatlerites instead of, having
Mm-hmm.
an actual radical, emancipatory, like.
But I wonder if
going
that's
the step-
conditional. Like if that's like indoctrination, or if it's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
the way that we are conditioned to become in a consumer culture. You know?
Yeah, it's the like nature of like I like calling people reactionary. It's my favorite thing to.
No, but that's a good descriptor.
Because it's the best description, and like you're not on Twitter again,
Oh, yeah.
so you don't see all this American
if you-
Communist Party shit. But the ACP,
Oh, the CPUSA or whatever.
no, not CPUSA. It's this ACP. I don't want to talk too much shit about it because like if like they're the kind of people that like anybody who talks shit about them, they like have a Discord where everyone will gang up and they'll become this whole
So you
thing.
become a target.
But they are like, in my perception, they're all reactionaries because like their aesthetic is, again, I don't want to get into it too much, but their aesthetic is mirrors kind of Andrew Tate reactionary style things.
Right, so it's like outrage culture.
Yeah, and
where it's
some of
like,
the
I'm
heads
so
of it-
pissed off that I'm going to organize and just
Yeah.
wave my hand around. And
Exactly. So not commenting on that specifically, but taking it more out and being more general.
Okay.
I have a fascination with, because I just view everyone as being reactionary. Like that's how
well,
I
yeah,
rationalize.
you don't believe in that they're being genuine
Yeah.
in their performative or in their activism.
No,
right?
no.
Not I don't know. I wouldn't say like at the core not being genuine.
Yeah,
but
not that it's not-
facade.
not
it's like
that
a
it's not-
superficial.
it's an ideology.
expression.
It's
Okay.
an ideology, so you wouldn't know. You wouldn't know that you're not being genuine.
And not only that, I mean, they are susceptible to ideological pitfalls and propaganda and
No, but
everything
yeah.
else, just like any other side that they are reacting to.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. That's what ideology is. It's this superstructure of thought that resides in our unconscious, but that we could tap into by, like you and I have, or like people have in general, of like I mean, Marx's critique, I think, is Marx himself doesn't have any concept of ideology, but a lot of people who have taken the Hegel and taken a lot of the philosophy of Marx, like Zizek, like Lacan. Lacan's not a Marxist by any, but like or even Foucault is not. Who's not great, but like Foucault even has an idea of ideology, and there's this like, so it's this idea of this superstructure that, where our minds are, whatever we're beholden to, et cetera, and so on and so on
and so on and so on.
And,
but we're not, but whomever is in your ideological group, you're not free from the compartmentalization and essentially isolation of those ideologies.
Yeah, well, and that's the point. Is you are explicitly subject to them because you are in the ideology. But that gets me far afield. My point about ideology and being reactionary, going back to your comment about them not being genuine, is it's not a question of being genuine. Ideology functions on a unconscious, subconscious, whatever you want to call it.
So everybody believes they're being authentic.
Everyone believes they're being authentic.
Yeah.
And so bringing this conversation in, when I like to level reactionary not necessarily as a end all criticism, but like it's a good label because it's like my extended family, like like Julie's family and shit like that. They're not right. Like I don't need to rationalize their right-wing political beliefs as them being like shitty people. I know that they're reactionaries.
Yeah, they're products of their environments.
Yeah, it's exactly that. Is their political...
They've been conditioned to be that way based off of their experience in the world.
Yeah.
Just like everybody, frankly.
Which is not exactly in line with what a reactionary is. Like a reactionary is like a fascist. Like a reactionary is someone who is like, I'm just... Not to undermine myself, but just to make a distinction.
To play devil's advocate for a moment.
Yeah, but just to make a distinction with why I make a point to be like, this is why I say this, is that a reactionary is someone who is politically informed and adheres to an ideology that is antithetical.
And they double down into it.
Yeah. And so like when Stalin calls people reactionaries, when Mao calls people reactionaries, he's talking about people who are counter-revolutionary.
Right. Explicitly anti-communist.
Exactly. And I'm talking about people who I think it's good to say about Americans, like working class Americans, it's good to call them reactionaries because they're people that they are people who don't know what they don't know. I'm being broad. I'm not
that is true about the division in the country is that we're literally sides are pitted against each other to react to the other side as being egregious and foul and unhuman.
Exactly. And instead of like I have this.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I didn't mean to do that.
Split that with me, man.
I didn't mean to do that.
I don't want you to do that.
But so instead of that works.
That already all right.
Yeah. So I have this problem with So there's some people in my life that shall not be named, but people that I work with who are absolutely on the line TikTok Democrat liberal establishment. Shit lib. Yeah. Just completely and always talking shit about Trump, all this shit, but was never said shit about Biden at any point. Never was critical about Biden, was completely tuned out of politics for the past 4 years, but now that Trump's back,
reactionary.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it is. It's the same thing. Is like these people. That's why. Well, no, you just said it for me.
The hypocrisy.
That's why I say it's reactionary. Is because reactionary to me doesn't just apply to these people who are counter-revolutionary.
Of course,
reactionary to me applies to people who aren't class conscious and just react to the world.
They're so frothing in the mouth of this response that they want to be a part of something. And what's interesting is that the hypocrisy that you highlighted, not only from the libs and the shit libs, where they'll endlessly criticize Trump but never criticize the Clintons or the Democrats or just the people who are just as corrupt but not so in your face about it. It's the same with on the right, where they're like, oh, the Democrats are evil and they want to turn your kids trans and turn us gay commies and all this and that, but they will never once turn the eye towards their own people and say that, oh, well, there's a bunch of corruption going on here and that there's a bunch of propagandized jingoism being stoked.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I don't know if it's that they're conditioned to not have that same analytical or critical eye towards themselves, or if it's like a defense mechanism, or if it's just literally playing that role for his response for the sake of playing the game.
That's exactly it. Sorry.
It's not about being intellectually faithful or in good faith, or actually engaging in discourse. It's just about being a champion of your beliefs in a sense, almost like what I call like sports loyalty. Like you take your team side and you say, "We did it. We're doing a good job."
Yeah, it's the same kind of enjoyment.
You know.
Yeah, it's the same kind of enjoyment. Yeah, and that's why I was saying like you nailed it.
Party loyalty.
It's jouissance. It's political enjoyment. They are still getting the same. Like Lacan says, like you want another master, you shall have it.
Yeah.
Like that's the same kind of deal. Is that these are people that like want the roles reversed, but don't want an end to the structure.
Exactly. I was just gonna say they don't see any inherent flaws in the entire structure itself. They see it only as one party being the issue or the problem or the source of corruption. Like when they say drain the swamp, it's a big colloquial term to just be this big like veil, a boogeyman, so to speak. But there's no actual like what's it called? There's no actual zooming in on the actual mechanisms and discrepancies of how it functions and what the problems within are.
Yeah.
So the thing is, it's all. That's why I feel like it's not genuine and that it's all, conditional and propaganda. And it's just like, how do you describe to average people that they are just taking part in a facade, like a game for the sake of having fun?
Well, you can't ever tell anyone that they've
Politics
been tricked.
is a game, though.
Yeah, you can't ever tell anyone that they've been tricked.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's the thing.
Because it makes them feel stupid.
Yeah,
they
you can't be
shut down.
paternalistic. You can't tell people that they've been tricked.
Child, you're still a child.
Yeah, and that's a liberal problem. Like when I was talking about,
they're condescending as fuck.
Yeah, I know it's not productive at all to talk shit about the Democrats now that they're out of power. I was doing it hard in the time between when they lost.
They're so self-congratulating though. That's the problem.
And they're and like they're all. I don't think they're ever going to win another election.
They're not aggressive. They don't have strength or power, and they don't use. Here's the problem that I think with the Democrats: they don't use the same dirty tactics that are used towards them against the other side. They're not being petty. They're not lying all the time.
Yeah,
because lying doesn't matter. Fact checkers don't give.
Well,
people don't care about fact checkers anymore.
You're absolutely right, and I kind of want to zoom out more on that point because like. What it is that they have an ideological adherence to the status quo, and that they're not leftists. They want to maintain a neoliberal center.
Exactly.
And at the risk of...
They're the heart of neoliberalism.
They are radical centrists, like this podcast, which is what we are. Because we're trying to be objective. So they're radical centrists like us. And they have an ideological conviction, like they have a faith conviction in maintaining the status quo. That's why whenever the status quo gets moved more right, they want to maintain that where that is.
Yeah, and
that's why they can't ever win another election.
They act like they're fighting for quote unquote democracy or our rights and freedoms, but essentially it's just to maintain the status quo. Neoliberalism.
They want to
which differs often to right wing ideologies because we've lived in a totalitarian, more of an authoritarian, conservative type state.
And that's why Obama never did anything like actually radical.
He did the same shit Bush was doing, but with Democrat flavor to it.
And that's why he never did anything truly radical, is because he was of the same narcissistic political breed that. Breed is the wrong word to use because it's racially charged, but like
I know what you mean.
Yeah, of the same ilk, the same
caliber.
Same political like narcissistic political ilk that wants to maintain power but not actually wield it.
And they also want to appear as though they are, intellectually superior and more mature, and that's why they don't engage in the petty squabbles and the tactics that are perceived against them. Because like when you looked at Obama the whole time, right? They were actively sabotaging the government and undermining him and saying, you weren't born here, you're a Muslim, this and that. And what was he doing the whole time? He was just kind of like, you guys are crazy. Who cares what these guys think? It doesn't matter. And that just gives them time to grow and fester. All the while, it shows that the Democrats are truly spineless because they're trying to
And that liberal decency order that they kind of established of like
the deplorables,
like finger wagging, hand wagging, like decency. That made the enjoyment of Trump all the more powerful.
You could rub it in their face.
Yeah, the jouissance of Trump all the more powerful because it's just like, we've absolutely shirked like that's why like even
That's why it's so
even-
satisfying to own the libs.
Yeah, that's why like even evangelicals still appeal to Trump despite like all these like the cognitive dissonance of like people be like, how does it, evangelicals like adulterers, blah blah blah, and I was like, all of what you just said doesn't account for the sheer enjoyment. It sounds stupid, but he's fun for people to watch.
He's hilarious.
And when you've been spent 8 years being told by all the, by a specific order that
Democrats,
you cannot say anything, like the Democrats are an order of chastising.
Yeah.
They're not an order, and I mean the
false
left,
promises too.
The left doesn't have any real platform of enjoyment.
Yeah.
Like even Marxists, like even us, like we don't like have a platform of like political enjoyment like the right has. The right has like absolutely cornered this idea of othering and all these things that just are not
The
part
demonization,
of,
the outrage
yeah,
culture.
they're just not part of
sensationalist media, tabloid culture.
And
That's
cancel
perpetuated by Fox News.
And
ultimately.
cancel culture, I think, did that for some people, some
Yeah.
leftists to an extent. But once you realize how like absolutely hollow, I think the reason why it doesn't go anywhere is because once you realize how like hollow it was structurally, and that people would just kind of pay fines and come back, or
Right, because it was championed by a lot of like or not leftists, but more of like liberal
Left
Democrat
liberals,
celebrities,
yeah.
mostly celebrities
it's,
too.
yeah, it was like a social thing.
So it's the bourgeois liberal elites.
That's exactly what it seems like.
I mean,
yeah.
Alyssa Milano, for example, not to undermine this movement whatsoever, but Alyssa Milano was the one that started the Me Too movement against like Harvey Weinstein.
I thought it was
and all
Rose
this.
McGowan.
It could, maybe. Well, it may have been Rose, but I know that Alyssa was the one who put up the hashtag for Me Too.
Yeah, because I know Rose McGowan had like that big article and shit like that.
Mm.
Regardless, the point still stands.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm not saying it's performative, but it's like when it only highlights celebrities and
Okay, I don't mean to cut you off,
Go ahead.
but you might get something out of this point to what your point may be that I just cut off.
which is not as relatable is my only point.
Well, what I was going to say is that about it being relatable is that it got framed as people speaking their truths. It got speaking to
Okay.
like all these women,
But not standing up for
speaking-
victims.
No.
Okay.
Not just in a way not standing up for victims, because what it is it's people speaking quote unquote their truths, and instead of speaking the truth, which these women are,
Yeah.
but it just got framed as like,
Oh, I see
you
what
see
you're
what I'm saying? It got
saying. Yeah, yeah.
framed as this individualistic.
Well, how do we know
like,
you're telling the
even
truth and not
whole
just trying to
point-
sabotage
the
his
whole
rela-
point of Me Too is to be like, this happens to happens to almost every this
Yeah.
has happened to almost every girl.
Stop
Like this is something that
sweeping-
happens.
stop sweeping
so
victims
it's
under the
supposed
rug.
to be this collective social thing, and the way that it got kind of co-opted is it became not a collective problem. It became a problem of multiple individuals. It became a problem of even though this happens to every woman, it's not a problem for women. It's a problem for these women, even though it's
Right.
every woman.
There's an archetype involved.
But it becomes an individualized thing,
And it's
the
also-
same thing that happened to Black Lives Matter. Is it becomes co-opted into this thing about representation and all this stuff, and then it becomes
more of the reaction.
decentralized once all these and this is pretty well documented when all these left-wing organizations get co-opted by these democratic movements who start funneling a bunch of
Ton
money
of
in
money,
there.
and then they say BLM is funded by George Soros and all this stuff.
And then but not only that, but they do any of the grassroots actual balls of those organizations are completely cut off and castrated. And that's why you have articles about Black Lives Matter CEO has had $1 million house burned down in LA, and it's why do they have a CEO?
Exactly. Why do you have
They
a
shouldn't-
power structure?
They
and
shouldn't have a
hierarchy?
power structure. You know
It
who
should-
did that was Democratic funding.
Yeah.
So that's
And that's exactly it too. But I think the interesting thing is the reaction to it as well. If we want to talk about Me Too, and let's talk about the bear analogy that was being used recently too. So obviously we know what that bear analogy was about. You say that if you run into a man in the woods versus a bear, you'd rather pick the bear because you don't know what the man's going to do, and you're not going to know how they react or how they treat or value women at all, right? A bear, you know what a bear's going to do because a bear's a bear, and you know the bear just lives in its nature. But the reaction to that analogy, which most men say, is like, oh, well, this is what you get when you choose a bear, blah, 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 and this and that. It's like, that's the whole point, is your reaction to that in that way. is to say, you know what I mean? You're not understanding the point for the sake of understanding women's perspectives. You're just reacting to it because you're getting offended because of the situation. Just same thing with Black Lives Matter and the same thing with Me Too. You're saying, oh, only the victims have a voice, and who knows if it's legitimate because they could potentially be smearing someone else, or Black Lives Matter because white lives don't. It's like, that's not the point.
Because
you know?
because these people are confronting in a sense, like, they're confronting a sense of castration, like symbolic castration.
Yeah,
like what it is it's their, they feel
that they're being attacked.
And that they don't have something. What they don't have is being persecuted.
Yeah.
But since they feel this ambiguous not having a thing, they react to people identifying that thing as an attack on them. And they're like, oh, they don't have this experience that black people have, right. And so
that's why they formed White Lives Matter.
Exactly, on an unconscious level, they want to have that persecution. They want to be able to say that we're persecuted.
It's
the
just like
same
with
reason.
Incels, too.
Exactly. It's incels, or it's the Zionist mentality as well, of just like they
want us all dead, or only women want.
Israel's the biggest example of the death drive. Like Israel is Israel in America, but like Israel in particular is a national personification of the death drive
version
of like, how can we ensure our own demise by striving for our own, like, everything that we want to do for our own benefit, also at the same time
jeopardizes all of it.
Guarantees that will never exist. Like the way that you damn Israel forever is if you fucking destroy Gaza.
Yeah, if you commit a fucking genocide.
If you commit a genocide, like, you're never
like,
going to live peacefully in that area ever. And like, as much as neither of us believe Israel should exist.
That's how I wonder, like, how does that make sense if you're going to do that and expect to live amongst your neighbors peacefully?
They just aren't.
Yeah,
like
and they're saying
the
like
point.
You got to make a coalition with the Abraham Accords with Arab nations to say, oh, you're gonna live and love your neighbors in Israel peacefully. And it's like, why? But they have no reason to want to.
Maybe a bunch of capitalists from those countries will all get into agreement, but that'll be the end of it.
That's
because
really
eventually there will be
the power is consolidated.
Eventually, you'll have another Arab Spring. You'll have some sort of uprising.
People liberation movements will still come up from grass movements.
Exactly, the contradictions will come to a head, like what happened with Yemen. Yemen's a great example of global contradictions coming to a head, where one of the poorest countries in the world, who just had to deal with their own genocide
by the Saudis, actually
managed to like halt and make some acts. We're one of the only countries in the world who stood up for this international concept of the right, of the duty to stand
to
up,
support your fellow,
to support the world, and the duty to maintain like some semblance of world order,
right?
Which no other country stepped up to,
and
except
it's so
for
easy
this
to characterize
small,
it as
poor bullshit country
right.
with shitty ass boats.
It's easy to characterize them as terrorists because they're a people's front. That is, well, I mean, I know there's some funding by the government.
What little government they have.
Yeah, right,
like that's
exactly.
the whole idea about the Houthis. I can't remember what their actual.
Well, it's because their actual military and government has almost no power there, But I wanted to kind of transition this conversation to a video that I was watching about Dune and faith. And I don't mean to like attribute the two, because I'm saying, oh, these desert nomads and their religions is what keeps them faithful. But if you really think about the way that this faith ideology, in a sense, can empower and embolden people to band together and be strong and with fortitude, it's kind of remarkable how, even if it doesn't explicitly have to be religious faith or spiritual faith, but it's just the faith itself that brings people together in that sense of community, can bring movements further, and there are some that, like, I'm not saying faith again in the religious aspect where it's like you have to have faith that something better will happen, but like having faith in the movement or the people involved will keep it going further. And I think a lot of the reason why we don't see any of the movements having tremendous impact in the United States, for example, is because a lot of it is performative, and that there are people who will believe their ideology, but they don't live by it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And not to say that you have to, but I'm just saying that, like,
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't. Like, I think even like a lot of philosophers and everything, and a lot of theorists.
It's talking the talk without walking the walk, so to speak.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
I think, just to push back on that a little bit, I think that like that can fall prey into like kind of like an individualistic interpretation.
Yeah.
Because what I would say is that like a lot of people, some of the big thinkers to me are like Hegel and Freud, and like even if like we talk about specific like people who did do shit like Castro, or like, because you and I are Cuban,
the actual revolutionaries.
and like you and I are Cuban, and
who put the theory to action.
And a lot of those people, like, there are aspects of them that they don't live up to their own theory, and that's because they're a person.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is the cult of personality is different than having faith in the movement. You know,
and that's about, but
that's the
exactly,
ultimate sabotage of the communist
now you're
revolution.
thinking like a good Maoist is that like it's a mass thing, and that it's not. Even if people have failures on an individualistic level, on an individual level, the momentum of mass is ultimately what propels history forward. Like people. So what the problem, diagnosing the problem in what you're saying, not the problem with what you're saying, but the problem in what you're saying, is that you are right, that people have these concepts and people have these adherences on an individual level. And if that got applied on a mass level, people's adherence to faith and everything like that in some sort of emancipatory idea, then it wouldn't matter people's individual shortcomings, and it wouldn't matter people's like individual inabilities to, maintain a ideology. All that would matter is that like we're all working towards an emancipatory goal.
I think
I derailed you. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. I wanted to help to kind of conclude this concept or this point as well. Is that I think that with the idea of this ambiguous other or this higher power, that people can rally behind that a little easier than behind a cult of personality, because people are always going to be fallible. They seek power and they consolidate that power in ways that aren't. I guess it's hierarchical in a way that it's still a structural power of oppression over the people, regardless, Yeah. And I don't think that faith is the answer, but I've seen some historical documentaries about how communities that are pious about their faith or whatever the case is last longer than ones that don't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you can kind of look at that with great civilizations throughout the world, but let's not go off on that too much.
Anyways, we'll wrap this one up. It's been fucking 2 hours that we've been fucking ranting about this shit.
Rambling.
Even though I'm gonna make some edits, that like
hour and a half.
It'll still be like 2 hours long. But yeah, so thanks for sticking around, homies. We're Chuff chatting with us. Sometimes it'll be funny. Sometimes it'll be like fucking like deep and shit like that, and like red pilled out. We did that big dog thing, which is pretty fucking funny. And
fun.
then we did some like fucking
Fernet.
We did some
Alcohol
Fernet.
talk.
That was like fucking funny and shit.
Let's throw them into ice. Cool.
You got anything to plug?
Currently, no. As far as like art or media, like music kind of stuff,
Anything?
I did my first Cali Beat podcast that I put on because you can't upload more than like 60 megabytes or some shit on Bandcamp unless you have Bandcamp Premium.
What the fuck?
And I did like an hour of US liminal spaces, and it was like 300 megabytes. It wouldn't let me do it, so I put it up on YouTube. That's about all I did recently.
Yeah. So we'll have this up. We're gonna figure out where we're gonna put this. Man, we're just doing this real loose like and shit. So we're gonna figure out where we're gonna put this. This will probably be up on YouTube, podcast, check shit like that out. You want to give your Instagram?
Sure. Yeah. If you want to follow me at Sweet Dream Baba, I post a lot of stupid things, but I'm also trying to workshop what I'm posting recently because I don't want to get put on a watch list. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, I guess that's true. Amen. And then you can get me at Glam Taro.
Yeah.
I'm also Glam Taro on X at Spicy Dolce, where I mostly just talk shit about the ACP right now because they're all over my feed. But other than that,
I don't want to get on X, man. You're gonna make me get on X.
Yeah, it's pretty funny, dude.
Okay,
it's pretty good. Like half of it's like. It might just be shit that it might just be my brain that it's catering to, so it could be like outing me for this, but it's all like right now it's all like white supremacist shit and like big titty girls.
No, that's what Crispy was saying to me too. He's saying like I have no one to send titties to, but on Twitter and Instagram and all that stuff is just nothing but titties. Yeah, I think that's just the way the algorithms have been pumped to get gooners to stop thinking.
Amen, brata. Amen, brata.
And that's what I'm saying. You send me some hot commodity sometimes because you'll send me like via text something on X, and if I don't watch it right away, it'll just be gone. Like for real, it'll just be gone sometimes.
Yeah, because they be like purging it. They'll be purging it. Yeah.
Damn, this is fucking volatile over there.
Anyways, be peace, be blessed. Chuff Chat. Gone big ups.
This is Jelly Biscuit Jingling number 99, giving you the bing bongs.
Righteous big dog. And remember, big dogs don't bark. Stay silent and lead the pack.